3 tips for international educators using Trello. Number 1, use your Trello boards to build your meeting agendas. So if you're like me, you have a lot of things that you want to discuss with your direct reports, with your supervisor, with different meetings that you have on a regular basis, and then sometimes you're not always so good at adding those things to ongoing agendas, so when the time comes, you forget that you wanted to talk about them. So what I do is I have a board for all of my various ongoing short-term, long-term projects that I am working on. So what I do is if I have something on my project, like let's say this is a reduced course load form that I need to have created, and I decide I can have someone help me with that. So if I go to labels and I add the Rose label, Rose is my administrative coordinator, and if I add her to it and then save, when I go to my meeting boards, that item has been listed on Rose's list. So I know the next time I meet with Rose, that's something that we can talk about. Number 2. This is my team board for my Sharks Abroad team, which includes me, my graduate assistant, and our 3 Sharks Abroad peer advisors, or like they like to call themselves, ambassadors. So our peer advisors are responsible for representing our Sharks Abroad programs at a variety of different events. So this is our at events list. So on this list, I have all of the different opportunities coming up where we need a peer advisor to be present. And so quickly you can use these cards to categorize who's in charge of that specific event. So on this one, if I hover, I can see that purple is Ariella and blue is Carly. So I know they're in charge of it. I know that and they know it, which helps us identify what they're specifically responsible for. Because they're tagged on it, they're going to be automatically watching it. So any new updates, they're going to have added. I can also have my GA added to it to watch it. So even though she's not responsible for any tasks, she can get updates to make sure that as our peer advisors are doing their items on their checklist, she's being notified with their progress. On these, I can attach links and documents so they have all of the information they need to have so that they can be successful for this event. I can also add a checklist which gives them specific responsibilities. So I wanted Carly to be responsible for booking a room, which she did, which she was tagged in and checked off. I wanted Ariella to make copies. She hasn't done that yet, and so it's not checked off, but she's still tagged on it, and so when she looks at her tasks, she can see that that's something she needs to complete still. I can add comments so that there's updates for them on the event. So here I say that Ariella is working from 11:15 to noon and Carly from 12 to 1, so we can know specifically who's charged with what. I can also add additional checklists. So if you're like us, every time we table, we need to bring basically the same amount of information. And so if I go to my checklist, it's going to find previous checklists that I've used in the past. So I know that if I go to my See Thursday checklist, which is our most common tabling event, it already is loading for me that we need sign-up sheets, we need brochures, and we need pens. Now for this particular event, if I also want swag added, not only can I add it, but I can also tag someone in it. So let's say I want Arielle to be in charge of that. She's going to again be notified because she's tagged, and then she can be responsible for checking it off when she finishes. I can move, copy, archive, which is like deleting this. I can change the date. I can add more checklists. I can add additional people. And all of these things can happen within this card. So my third tip for international education offices is that you can email things to a specific card. So here there's this really long email address. No point in reminding yourself of it, because what you can do is you can just add it to your Outlook contact list. And so let's say we have this action alert and it's actually an opportunity for us to table at a future event. So if I forward this email to my Trello board, I have no idea what that email address is, but what I do know is that it's Trello, and I know it's related to Sharks Abroad. So those are my 3 key terms. If I hit check names, there it is. That's that really long address that I would never remember, but it's saved within my contacts. So when I hit send, then I'm going to go back to my Trello board. In the next few seconds, it's going to pop up. There it is. So that email I just sent is automatically added to my board, which because of the rule I use that says automatically add it to this particular board to be assigned, That lets me know, okay, this is a new event our team needs to be at, so I can move this card to our Sharks Abroad events. I can put it here, and then I can get to work by adding people to be responsible for it. So I'm going to add our peer advisor Giovanni and our peer advisor Ariella, and they're going to take charge of this event. And I can open it up to do new things like a due date and I can add attachments, everything that we did before. So those are my 3 tips for Trello for International Education Office. There's no point in me creating new videos on Trello tutorials. There's people with a lot bigger budgets and a lot more expertise who've already done that. So go ahead and go to YouTube or Google and search Trello tutorial, and you'll find lots of information. Definitely check out the Trello for Butler, the Butler for Trello functionality. It's totally free and it automates a lot of things that you want to do, explore, and have your teams working together and enjoy.